We'll talk some Rays with him as well as college basketball.
That's why they call it Match Martinez.
Thank you very much, Ronnie. And it is going to be madness beginning tonight. There's no madness tonight with these playing games. By the way, how did Miami of Ohio make the tournament? I get it. 31-0 is pretty impressive when you're playing Slapdick State. Their strength of schedule was like 339 in the nation.
Slapdick prospect.
And they lost to UMass in the first round of the MAC tournament. They played no quad one games. I don't want to be labeled as the bad guy because, look, 31-0 is very impressive, but they didn't play anybody. And they lost to UMass. They are lucky to be in the tournament, in my humble opinion. And they're in the playing game against, I don't know, Southeastern, North Dakota State. Who cares? Bunch of teams that don't even belong in there. And you want to expand the tournament? There are already too many, like, slapdick type of teams, preliminary wrestlers like we called them back in the day. Like Aldo Marino. Give me a break. All right, the Rays. Right now they're playing the Yankees. 1-1. They're in the seventh inning. Our guy, Ryan Pepio, talked to him last night, by the way. 5 innings today, allowed 1 run, which was a home run by J.C. Ascara in the second inning. He walked 3, struck out 2. The walks are a problem, and he needs to clean that up. So Ryan Pepio slated to be the number 4 starter, and how the Rays structured their starting rotation. Mark Topkin clued us in on that last week when he joined us. Like, they want to separate the guys who are workhorses from the guys who may have an innings limit attached to them. So it's going to be Drew Rasmussen. We'll talk to Rich Hollenberg coming up in a few minutes. Rasmussen, and then Nick Martinez, and then Matz, and then Pepio, and then McClanahan. And the way Topper laid it out last week, he first told us about the projected starting rotation in that order. So it will set up to where McClanahan will be starting the home opener April the 6th against the Cubs. And we're all going to be there at the beautiful Ferg Sports Bar beginning at 6 a.m. on April the 6th. And we'll be there from 6 a.m. to the first pitch. Yours truly will be out there doing the show from noon to 3. Can hardly wait. Opening day in Tampa Bay, the reopening of the Trop, as you will. So the Trop will be reopened. Meanwhile, new ownership is working on their forever home. So at TampaBay.com, the Tampa Bay Times did this article about the proposed Rays Stadium roof, which would cost at least $300 million more. Right now, it's $2.3 billion, and I said it from the day it came out, it's going to be more than that. And if this roof is going to cost more, that means it's going to be more. And you know what happens the longer you wait,
the more expensive it gets.
Thank you very much. So, in this article, I noticed, and I was reading this last night, and I get to the bottom. It's right at the bottom. You want to talk about burying the lead here. Right toward the end of the article, there's a quote from Alan Clendenin. He's the chairperson of the Tampa City Council. He also serves on the Tampa Sports Authority's board. So he was asked about the data about the Rays Stadium and the specs and maybe the new designs that will be coming out, everything else. And he mentioned that the Rays are responsible for the cost overruns, which the Rays are already admitting, you know what, if there's overruns, we'll take care of it. That's going to be our responsibility. Ken Babby, he's out in front of it. I like the way this new ownership is moving. They're pushing things kind of quickly, to be honest, and we'll find out if that's going to be to their detriment. They want to open in 2029. That's why things are moving on at a rapid pace. But then he says, Clendenin did, Tampa is, quote, in the final hours of negotiating, unquote. That was the one line that really caught me. And then he goes on to say, quote, I believe based on the data that I've been privileged to see, everything is looking like it's pointed in the right direction, that it's a deal that we can reach. But of course, until the last document slides across my desk and I see the last I dotted, the last T crossed, I can't say 100%, unquote. The final hours of negotiating. Now, the Rays want this up for a vote April 1st and the 2nd. I mean, they want to move this thing along. They want to pay for at least half. I think they're going to have to probably pay for more than half if they're going to push this thing across the goal line. But the fact that Mr. Clendenin said we're in the final hours of negotiating, there's a lot going on. That is the signal to me, and we've been talking about this, a lot going on behind the scenes that we're not privy to. The Rays have been holding these community public hearings about the stadium, and you got a bunch of interesting characters, to say the least, showing up, putting in their 2 cents, not the least of which, Pat and Aaron. I was talking to Aaron before the show, and he was telling me stories about some of these people that are showing up at these public hearings, bringing up like these off-the-wall type of statements and opinions, which really have little to do with the stadium itself and the construction, but that's how people are. Well, let's keep a close eye on this. Final hours of negotiating. This might come together maybe a lot sooner than you think. And when everyone said 2029, we're like, wow, oof. That's pushing it too soon. Is it? I think these new owners, boy, they're organized, and they are really, really getting after it. They are diligent. That's the word, diligent. All right, 1 hour down, 3 more hours to go. Coming up, speaking of the Rays, opening day right around the corner. Could the Rays be a surprise team? What about the setup of this starting rotation? What about the new stadium? What about Match Madness? Could USF be a Cinderella story? We're going to talk to a guy who knows about the Rays and about college basketball. Our guy, Rich Hollenberg. He will